What's up YouTube, Capital G here, checking out the brand new Flundereeze archetype that just got revealed, coming out of Burst of Destiny. Of course, Burst of Destiny, the next core booster set after Dawn of Majesty, and damn, this deck is looking spicy. I have read this archetype, all the cards, and low-key, I'm kind of loving it. I guess I could summarize it by saying, if you took Yosenju and crossed it with Monarchs, Flundereeze would probably be the result, because this thing is this archetype is all about the normal summon. There is no special summoning at all. There's a heavy emphasis on tribute summoning, and very much like Yosenju, this is an archetype that just gives you normal summon, normal summon, normal summon. You get a lot of extra normal summons with this deck. You have a lot of recycling. I think cards like Pot of Duality and Extravagance will be very good here because you ain't special summoning ever. There are no extra deck cards, very similar to Monarchs and Yosenju's, and seems really good. Seems like a very strong control-based deck. Maybe like a updated version of like True Draco or Monarchs, if you will. Anyways, we'll start out with the tribute guys, and then we'll work our way to the little dudes, and you'll kind of understand how the little guys set up the tribute summon monsters. But the tribute summon monsters are very powerful. So the first one is the level 10. The tributes are 10s in this deck, so they're 2 tributes. It's the Penguin. He is a wind attribute monster, and this entire archetype is Wing Beast. There are multiple wind monsters in here, so maybe Harpy's Featherstorm. That card's kind of nuts. 2700 attack, 1000 defense. If this card is tribute summon, you can add 1 Flundereeze spell/trap from your deck to your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon on monsters. So as I just said before, this is a deck that gives you a whole lot of normal summons. I just love this. Like, the second it hits the field, instantly gets me a spell and trap, and then gives me another normal summon. Like, just very good. Second effect on this card is bananas. While this tribute summon monster is on the field, your opponent's special summon monsters in attack position cannot activate their effects. Good lord, that's so strong. Basically, you cannot, like, your opponent just can't link summon while this card's on the field because link monsters won't have effects. If they summon monsters from the extra deck in general, they'll have to be awkward and summon them in defense mode if they want the effects, but then the monsters probably, like, they won't be able to attack. So I think that effect is just absolutely amazing. That is obviously like one of your stun effects in this deck, very similar to something like the Monarchs Erupt. Third effect, if this card battles an opponent's monster, during damage calculation, you can banish 1 card from your hand. The opponent's monster's current attack and defense become half until the end of the turn. This was the first effect where I raised my eyebrow and I was like, I don't know if that's really worth it. However, this deck's gimmick is to banish the little Flundereeze monsters and then just add them back to your hand. That's why the boss monsters all have effects that require you to, like, discard, because you can just kind of, well, you can add your banished cards back, so it kind of makes sense. It's basically like just another way of disrupting. Obviously, like, your opponent's going to probably try to attack over this because they're not going to be using a lot of powerful monster effects, well, not from special summon cards. So this is basically a way of protecting the guy from battle. Obviously, it makes sense. Third effect is not a hard once per turn. By the way, use it as many times as you have cards in your hand. Next tribute monster. I think these are sparrows, or I don't know what type of bird this is. I probably should know. I used to play Blackwings. Anyways, this is a water level 10, 2900, 800. Once per turn, if you control this tribute summon card, you can activate this effect. You can conduct 3 normal summon / sets this turn, not just 1. Good lord, I feel like they only put this on like one other. Is it chain summoning that they put this on? And that has a ridiculous like hoops to jump through. So this is obviously easier than that. Second effect, when this tribute summon monster is on the field, if your monster attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. That doesn't just work with this card. It works for all your monsters on the field. It doesn't specify this card, so it works with everything that you have. Third effect, during the opponent's turn, quick effect, you can banish 1 card from your hand. Change all opponent special summon monsters to face down defense position. That one is a once per turn, but not a hard once per turn. So there's your main disruptive effect on this card. Basically a Book of Eclipse, but your opponent's monsters don't get flipped face up. Very strong effect. Non-targeting, works on multiple monsters. Excellent disruption. I mean, honestly, both of the tribute monsters have crazy good disruption. They both have good offense potential, and yeah, this card can bring the hammer down because 3 normal summons in a turn, kind of spicy. So let's talk about the small ones now. The first one is Robina, aka Stratos for the deck. Level 1, it's 600 attack, 1200 defense. Now, if you activate the first or third effects of any of the level 1s, any of the baby birds, you cannot special summon. That's why I say there's not going to be any special summoning in this deck, basically at all. You're never going to special summon. Pot of Duality will be live every single turn that you play this deck, essentially. I don't think you're ever going to special summon in this deck. First effect is the unique effect. If this card is normal summon, you can add a level 4 or lower wing beast monster from your deck to your hand. Immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon one wing beast monster. So basically, this is the Stratos for the archetype, but in addition, it doesn't just search. It also lets you special summon, or it lets you normal summon the monster that you just searched. So obviously, like, you get 2 monsters on board. The second effect is how kind of these guys loop themselves. Second and third effect. The second effect says if this face-up card leaves the field, banish it. Third effect, if a wing beast monster is normal summoned to your field while this card is banished, you can add this card to your hand. So essentially how Konami wants you to play these guys is they want you to tribute summon these little level 1s, and then the second that your tribute monster hits the field, you add the level 1s right back to your hand, and that is how you pay for the discard cost of their, their disruptive effects, basically. I actually think that it's pretty cool, and it's actually quite efficient for a deck that kind of resolves around tribute summoning, in my opinion. This card is obviously like just a 3 of, because it's the Stratos of the deck. Well, it doesn't search all the dudes, but it searches all the small dudes. Next card is how you get to your tributes. This is the Eagle. His unique effect. When this card is normal summoned, keep in mind the Sparrow can just search this and then instantly normal summon it. So if this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 level 7 or higher wing beast monster from your deck to your hand. Immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon 1 wing beast monster. So yeah, it's pretty obvious how they want you to set this up. Normal summon Robin, and then search Eagle, and then Eagle will search obviously like one of your tributes, and then you tribute both of these guys. You get your tribute on field, and both of your little dudes get banished, and then you just add them back to your hand. So it's basically just a 1-card combo, and you end with your two monsters, like your 2 starters, you end with them back in your hand. I think that is incredibly efficient, in my opinion. Next up is Flundereeze Ostrich. The unique effect on this one, I think this is the only one that, I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it ain't that good. If this card is normal summon, you can target 1 card in either graveyard, banish it. Then immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon a wing beast monster. They basically all do this. I mean, so I guess mainly you're just gonna banish your own stuff so that you could potentially add it back to your hand. That's, I guess, the major application for this. I mean, I kind of get it. Hey, Cap, I can banish my opponent's cards, something like that. But I think mainly you're supposed to banish like your level 1s so that you can continue recycling them. I'm going to be honest, I don't know that you have to play this card. This is the only level 1 where I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't know you got to play this card. Maybe if you need a bunch of names, I get it. But this is the only one where it's like, I don't know if you need to play this one. Next up is the Toucan. The Toucan says, if this card is normal summon, you can target one of your banished Flundereeze monsters, add it to your hand, and then immediately, you get the normal summon another wing beast monster. This one is more effective to me because this one it can add any. Like, let's say that you banish one of the tribute monsters for the other tribute monsters effect. This lets you recycle the tribute monsters, which is obviously very strong. Like, this lets you recycle any of your Flundereeze cards, not just the monsters, but even the spells and traps. If you have to banish a spell and trap, there you go. You can just add it back to your hand. So this one I think is much more effective. Their field spell, because every Yu-Gi-Oh deck has a field spell, is the Mysterious Map. And it says the effects are hard once per turn. During the main phase, you can reveal 1 level 1 Flundereeze monster in your hand. And if you do, banish 1 Flundereeze card with a different name from your deck. Immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon the revealed monster. Second effect, if your opponent normal summons, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 Flundereeze monster. So basically, this is kind of like a setup card. You reveal one of your level 1s, and you're going to go ahead and banish like another level 1 from your deck. Then you normal summon the card that you banish. Obviously, you just add it back to your hand, and then you get, probably like you're going to end up with both of them on field. So this is definitely like a starter for the deck. It gets everything kind of rolling. You do kind of have to already have a monster though, like one of your level 1s, but assuming you have that, like, you're pretty much good. It's very similar to like the Yugi Gaia field spell. It's very similar to that. The second effect, that one's okay, I guess. That one, I'm not so certain about that. Normal summoning during my opponent's turn, I guess works with the tribute monsters, but without the tributes, I don't know if it's that good. Now, this continuous spell card is... this is insane, and this makes me think that this deck can easily go first or second. This is the Unknown Wind. Second effect, hard once per turn. First effect says you can conduct a tribute summon that requires 2 tributes by sending 1 monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls to the graveyard instead of tributing. This is treated as a tribute summon. Second effect, during your main phase, you can reveal up to 2 Winged Beast monsters in your hand, place them on the bottom of your deck in any order, then draw the same number of cards. That is very, very good. It does technically conflict with Extravagance, I think, but in general, cards that fix your hand are incredibly good, especially if you're adding back like your Flundereeze monsters that are going to be like, if you're adding back the ones that you tribute, this is an excellent way to get rid of some of the ones you don't need and draw into your spells and traps. Now, obviously going second, if you're telling me I can tribute my opponent's monsters, hell yeah, bro, I'm always up for that. Because things like Dragoon, and like in Yu-Gi-Oh, it doesn't matter how much protection you have, you can always kind of just be tributed. That's why Kaijus are so good, and this has that type of effect. So I really like this card, and it is searchable, of course, by the Penguin Boss monster, so I think it's very good. To the traps now, and this archetype has some very powerful traps, well, especially the counter traps. It's kind of like escalation on the Monarchs. This is City of Dreams. Second effect, hard once per turn. During your main phase, immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 level 4 or lower Winged Beast monster. So a way of summoning during your opponent's turn, or I guess technically even your turn. Second effect, if you tribute a level 7 or higher monster while this card is in the graveyard, you can banish this card, change all monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position. That is awesome because that can be a disruptive effect. And keep in mind, the second tribute monster, that gives you piercing damage on all your monsters. So obviously that is very strong because if your opponent's monsters are all face down, you're probably tearing those booties up. So that's obviously very good. Now to the counter trap, because we don't make Yu-Gi-Oh archetypes without counter traps, and this is not an Infernity Barrier, but it can be just as strong. So this is Scary Sea, and it's a counter trap which actually works outside of this archetype. You can run this in any tribute deck, basically. It's a hard once per turn. If you control a face-up tribute summon monster and no special summon monsters, keep in mind there is no special summoning in this deck, so it doesn't matter. And your opponent would special summon a monster or monsters, so also a pendulum summon. Your opponent cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, but they can conduct 3 normal summons / sets this turn, not just 1. Also negate this summon, and if you do, return the monster or monsters to your hand, or to their hand. This is obviously insane. Like, let's say you're playing against basically any combo deck. The second they try to special summon, just shotgun this damn thing, and then they're basically stuck. I mean, yeah, sure, Dragon Link can normal summon 3 times, but what the hell are they gonna normal summon? They're gonna normal summon a bunch of monsters. They're gonna be locked out of their extra deck, and they're just not gonna do anything, basically. That's what this card essentially does. It says combo decks you can normal summon, which is something you only do once anyways, but you aren't gonna be popping off, and obviously this is bananas against combo decks. Against control decks, not so much, like not so good. You can side it out, but against combo decks, definitely very good. Anyways, let's wrap this video up. What do you guys think of the Flundereeze archetype, or Flundereeze archetype, excuse me? My knee-jerk reaction is I think that they're competitive. They seem very good, seem like they have a lot of disruption, seem like they can essentially constantly juggle their resources, and I like the fact that they can run a lot of just generic power cards. Harpy's Featherstorm, Pot of Extravagance, Pot of Duality. Those are very strong cards, so I like it so far. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching as always.